We're certainly experiencing a very chaotic period, very chaotic time now in our reality as we continue to shift towards new Earth, as new higher frequency timelines become available to us. What happens is we need to really start to let go of the old. We make the unconscious conscious so that we could feel, that we could experience all of that energy that's been trapped within the body, and that creates the space for the new to land. So, in this energy update, I want to talk about how you can best navigate that process and how you could really shift your perspective or your outlook on what's truly happening in the world. I know we want to dive in and we want to take in all the information that's out there and we want to judge it. We want to judge people. We want to judge the situations against basically what our programming says should be unfolding, right? When we see something that doesn't align with that, we judge it. And that's because we have these limiting beliefs. We have this programming that was unconscious, that was really creating our reality for us. It was the lens through which we saw reality. Well, now that lens is being taken away, and you now have the opportunity to create some space, step back from the programming, and experience really how this unconsciousness was dictating your life. So you may see things happening around the world that you don't agree with, but remember, when we move into a space or a time frame of shift or of change, things are going to look very, very chaotic. Now, we're going to want to judge what's happening based on, again, our programming, our limiting beliefs, our traumas, those types of things. But it's very, very important now to just simply observe all of those thoughts, all of that energy, that fear, that anxiety, the anxiousness that is coming up into your field as we move through this massive energetic shift. I know collectively things are wacky. They've been really wacky for a number of years now, but things are really picking up because everything is accelerating. As we move into a higher frequency timeline, things can start to appear to move a little bit faster. And when things start to fall away, like old timelines, old realities are currently beginning to fall away, it could seem like it's happening very, very quickly. And that could be very unnerving. And that's simply because you are being asked by your higher self to lean into the unknown. You see, if things keep going like they've always gone, things will never shift. Things will never change. Well, how do we change things? We have to upset or uproot the old. We need to make the unconscious energy conscious, and that is going to require you to be present with and feel all of those dense emotions that you have been avoiding feeling for years and years and years, right? You're going to need to get a little uncomfortable. You're going to need to feel a little bit of that fear energy, a little bit of that stress energy, because it's been trapped within your nervous system and you've been doing everything you can to not feel that. Well, now it's being brought up collectively, so it's constantly in your face. You're constantly being reminded of all of that unconscious programming. It's now becoming conscious, and all of the anxiety that goes along with it is up and active in your field. That is your opportunity to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. You want to bring it into the heart space, breathe it into the heart, breathe it into the lower chakras, anchor into your body. That pulls that lens off and allows you to see things from a more neutral perspective. You start to be able to lean into trust, because we know if you're a light worker and you've been on this journey that you go through periods of darkness where you're being asked to sit in the void, where you're being asked to lean into the unknown. It's happening more now on a collective level. We are actually starting to see the physicality of the timeline shift on a bigger scale, and that could be very unnerving. It's going deeper into that unconscious programming, and it's bringing it up into your experience so that you could create that space, become neutral with it, actually feel it, allow yourself to feel it. That reintegrates all of that energy and creates space for more of the higher frequency light to land. So we need to move through these compressive times, these times that really squeeze you, the times that feel uncomfortable, the times that feel really, really, really strange, the times where it kind of, takes us out of our ability to try to create expectations or predict what the future is going to look like, right? Because when we were predicting what the future was going to look like, it was based on the old programming, the old timing. It was like the status quo. Everything is being stirred up right now energetically, and that is what's being reflected into the collective. So you can do your part as best as you can to remain stable, to remain anchored and aligned in your body, grounded. If you need to meditate more, practice breath work more, anchor it more into the body, ground more throughout your day. Stay as centered as you can. Become the observer of what's happening around you. Detach from that old programming that has certain expectations and wants to judge everything if it thinks that things are not going in accordance with that programming. That is coming up into your experience so that you can release it. Neutrality is key. When you could become neutral, when you could become anchored and stable, you project that energy out for others who may be struggling amongst the chaos. As old realities fall away, many people only have that old reality as an expectation or an idea of what this reality is to look like. That's all that they have. So as that starts to fall away, you're going to hold a space of comfort for them, of confidence, of trust as they lean into the unknown. They will look to you and see stability, and that will help them find it within themselves. This is a very, very powerful time. I've talked about this for years. It's like we're moving through the birth canal. You're going to get compressed and squeezed before things open up. Things are going to look very, very wacky. You got to feel the uncomfortable. You got to feel a little bit of that pain, that anxiety, that stress of not knowing what the future is going to look like, right? That's what you're being asked to do. Can you be okay without knowing? Can you simply lean into trust? And when you could do that, everything that's happening externally tends to not have that weight anymore, the weight on your shoulders. You no longer have to carry the burden of that because your expectations that were based or set based on your programming have fallen away. They're no longer relevant. You are now detached from what's happening externally, and you could sit back from your anchored, grounded perspective and simply watch the beauty of this shift happen right before your eyes. Remember, we come into a canal, we squeeze, and eventually things are going to open up in an amazing, beautiful way. This is the time you came for. So much is happening right now energetically. It's an amazing time to be here. Do your job as a light worker. Do the best you can to maintain that anchored space, stable space, and offer that energy up for others who may need it.